I'm here to tell you about the situation with respect to the Teamster strike at CN. I want to assure everybody that we are seized with the severity of this situation. It is something which is having a considerable economic impact on Canadians, not only here in Quebec where I am, but across all of the country. We have been in touch with the provinces in the west of the country, and they are also feeling it. This is not only an inconvenience, it is also very stressful in many, many cases because CN is a major supplier of products across the entire country. So we want to resolve this as quickly as possible, and the two sides are seized of this as well. They realize exactly what impact this is having on Canada and that there is a need to solve this as quickly as possible. We believe that mediation, collective bargaining is the right way to do this. We've looked at the situation, and we feel that the two sides need to be talking to each other. We have our negotiator-in-chief who is present with them here in Montreal negotiating. We believe that this is the not only the most probable but also the fastest way to resolve this issue so that we can find a solution and get CN back operating as it has before, delivering products across the country.
Mr. Garneau, you've already said that you've talked a bit about the propane issue, but do you have any ability to sort of influence what can be brought by CN and what can't? Are you discussing this with the company? Are you urging that? Because as you said, there are definitely trains in the on sidings.
CN has indicated that it can, within the scope of its operations, where it can operate using its managers who can be conductors of trains, that it will try to help where it can. And the best thing for individual companies or groups is to contact them to see if there is anything that they can do. But they are limited to about 10% of the kinds of the amount of trains that they can operate given this strike, because they simply do not have as many white-collar conductors who are capable of running the trains.
But if you ask them specifically, look, could you help us out? Could you try to do
as I said just a minute ago, there are some 69 tanker wagons in Quebec, in different parts of Quebec, that have propane in them, and CN has indicated that it will do its best, if it gets a request, to bring those tankers to the right places to provide for those propane needs.
Grain farmers are the most affected by this shortage so far. Pretty upset about this. It's a crucial part of their harvesting to dry their grain. What do you say to the grain farmers that are really hurting right now?
That I certainly sympathize very, very strongly with what they are going through, and it's a very stressful time for them. And that is what I say to them, is that we are working very, very hard to resolve this as quickly as possible so that they can get back to normal operations. This is a situation where, because of weather conditions this year, there's extra grain to dry, and we realize that they use propane to do that drying process. So we're very aware of it, and believe me, we've made the two sides extremely aware of the fact that we need to resolve this situation as quickly as possible for grain farmers and, to be honest with you, for many other users of CN products across the country.
In the event of Quebec is making sure that there is propane coming in, but the rationing is still happening. So if we have propane until the end of next week, but it's not going to farmers, that could mean losses completely of their grain that's already in the field.
So the province, Minister Julien, as I mentioned, Minister Bonardel, whom I've been in touch with, we are keeping the channels of communication completely open, looking at all possible sources of supply of propane to address the issues with respect to the agricultural sector, also the chicken sector, and also hospitals and residences. So looking for every possible source of propane, but at the same time we are focused very, very strongly on resolving this dispute between CN and the Teamsters as quickly as possible.
In the event of back-to-work legislation, as happened in 2012 during a CP rail strike, how long would it realistically take to get a back-to-work bill through Parliament, if that were to happen?
I believe that the process that we need to follow is one of collective bargaining, and I'm going to continue pushing very, very hard, as will Minister Tassi, on the two sides to resolve this as quickly as possible. During the last 4 years in government, we had potential situations of strike, one at CP a couple of years ago, WestJet and others, and we were able, through collective bargaining and both sides talking very constructively, to find solutions. We are optimistic that we are going to find a way to solve this much more quickly and in a much more constructive way through the collective bargaining process, and that's why we're focused on that.